Welcome to live coverage of the 2026 Iowa State Fair Parade right here on Iowa PBS. I'm Travis Graven along with Charity Nebbe, and we're getting ready to kick off the Iowa State Fair with a tradition that Iowans have been getting ready for, celebrating the Iowa State Fair for generations.
That's right, Travis. People are lining the streets, the crowds are ready, and in just a few moments, the State Fair Parade will be making its way through downtown Des Moines.
And when we see that first parade entry coming down the street, you know it's official. The Iowa State Fair is here.
From the horses to the crowds, the floats, the marching bands, the heat, the humidity, this really is the perfect kickoff to the Iowa State Fair.
And this year, the fair is joining the nation in celebrating America's 250, so there's even more reason to celebrate.
Let's get this fair started.
The 2026 Iowa State Fair Parade is next.
Funding for Fair 2026 is provided by
Pella Windows and Doors help bring your home to life. For more than 100 years, Pella has been dedicated to building a brighter future in Iowa communities. Pella Corporation is a proud supporter of Iowa PBS.
With our Iowa roots and Midwestern values, Farmers Mutual Hail is committed to offering innovative farm insurance for America's farmers, just as we have for 6 generations. Farmers Mutual Hail, America's crop insurance company.
As Iowans, we all want clean air, land, and water. Iowa's pig farmers do too. You can learn more about the Iowa Pork Producers Association at iowapork.org/wecare.
Since 1929, Wellaby has offered insurance solutions to help people protect their health and financial well-being. Wellaby strives to empower people to be well prepared, and well protected. Learn more at wellaby.com.
Welcome to Iowa, where you can explore parks, wander countless trails, and experience history, culture, and art. Travel Iowa.
At Iowa Corn, we know that corn is more than just a crop. It fuels our cars, feeds our livestock, and is in over 4,000 products on your grocery store shelves. Iowa doesn't just grow corn, corn grows Iowa. Learn more at iowacorn.org.
Banking in Iowa goes beyond transactions. Banks work to help people and small businesses succeed. And Iowa banks are committed to building confident banking relationships. Iowa Banks, your partner through it all.
We are here on Grand Avenue, and Travis, I'm already feeling the fair spirit. How about you?
It feels like the fair out here, Charity.
It does.
About
We're
87
glistening,
degrees,
right?
nice and humid. The sun's shining. People are having a great time, and we're getting ready for, everybody loves a parade.
Absolutely.
So why not kick off the fair with one?
It's such an exciting time, and of course we're making plans as we're watching the parade go by, making plans for when we get to the fairgrounds. Do you have something in particular you're excited about this year?
Oh, well, there's all sorts of things, and I'm sure we'll get into some of them as we go. You got to eat.
Ease in. Right, that's the thing. That's the first thing I plan is what I'm going to eat. I've got to have a corn dog. It's a perennial.
I don't have
You
to
don't?
have a corn dog.
Everybody's different.
I know that's...
There's a lot of room. There's a lot of room in this world for different people. More for me, Travis.
Oh, we've got the State Patrol Bear. I don't know if the bear has a name. Do you know?
I have no idea, honestly.
Or maybe it's a dog. I'm not sure.
I think he looks like a dog.
It probably is.
Oh,
that
my
makes more
goodness.
sense.
I don't recall seeing him in fairs past, so that's really fun.
It's a new vehicle to me, too.
Here's the Iowa Department of Corrections color guard with a bagpiper this year. That's wonderful. Color Guard is a ceremonial unit of designated correctional staff that represents the agency at formal functions, parades, memorial service, and public events, and of course, the Iowa State Fair
Iowa
Parade.
State Fair. And great to kick off the fair with the State Patrol, because if you're out at the fair, you see the State Patrol out around the grounds everywhere, keeping everybody safe and keeping order out there on the fairgrounds, in addition to the State Fair Police as well. So,
All right, we've got
the
the
fair
Grand
spirit.
Marshals going past us right now. Russ and Terry Slight, one of the fair's power couples. They've recently retired. Russ worked in grandstand security for 45 years, and Terry for 43, also in security and as head of the ticket takers. That's
and
so
we'll
cool.
hear from them later in the show.
That's amazing.
They have put in some time to the Iowa State Fair, and great that they can be at the helm here. And of course, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds. And my guess is that that's a granddaughter.
I think
with
that's
her
a pretty,
and Kevin on the car.
pretty good guess.
And this will be the last State Fair parade for Governor Reynolds.
Well, hopefully she'll keep coming.
Oh, I'm sure she will.
But the last State
one
Fair
riding in a
parade
car,
as
probably.
governor.
Lieutenant Governor Chris Knoyer following behind.
Of course, we've got a lot of dignitaries here at the beginning of the parade.
Statewide elected office holders.
Attorney General Brenna Bird is next, elected in 2022.
And lots of people that are on the ballot this year.
Absolutely.
The governor won't be, but Lieutenant Governor Knoyer is, Brenna Bird is, and Rob Sand, the
Our
current state auditor.
Yep. Also running for
will
governor
be
this
on
year.
the ballot this fall.
I suspect we'll see a lot of politicians and party presence in the parade this year.
You know, political campaigns love a parade.
Yep.
So they'll be here in full force, but I know a lot of them will be out at the fairgrounds too. State Treasurer Robbie Smith, he'll also be on the ballot this fall.
Mike Negg, the Secretary of Agriculture.
He's got a few extra things to do out at the state fair with that job.
Yep. Paul Pate is up next, our Secretary of State.
And he'll be in charge of running the elections.
That's right, a very important job in election
and also
season.
on the ballot. All right, now we got an old fire truck coming here.
Nice.
I feel like it's making me old because I feel like that doesn't look that old to me,
No.
even though I know it is.
No, they certainly looked like that when I was a kid. We've got Ruth Ann Gaines next, Representative Ruth Ann Gaines.
And she is retiring this year, so she represents the east side of Des Moines, home to the fair. So one last hurrah for Representative Gaines.
I think that was the most decorated car that we saw
So
with
far,
dignitaries.
indeed.
So we'll be keeping a tally. Polk County Sheriff's Office. Well, they've got a cool little vehicle in the fair this year.
That'd
or
be
in
a
the
good way
parade
to
this
get
year.
around the fairgrounds.
Yeah. I don't know, you're a little low profile. You might take some people out by the knees. Not that they ever would.
Yeah, it can be a little tricky out at the fair with too many motorized
It's
vehicles.
true. It is true. Iowa PBS moves around in the golf
We've
carts.
got the golf
and
carts, but
that's-
you know, we've got to be careful about where we go, and there
I've
are some
never
places
driven
we
one.
can't go with
You
the golf
probably have
carts,
driven.
Every once in a while, they'll let me, but
Yeah,
you
they
know,
don't let me.
There are certain people that are better trained to do that sort of thing than me.
But yeah, no, it's not easy to move move through the fairgrounds.
The Iowa State Fair Police. We were talking about the State Patrol earlier. There is a police department at the fairgrounds. Of course, the fair is their busiest time of year, but
Right.
lots of other events and things that happen out of the fairgrounds and all the buildings and everything. They've got to keep it all safe and secure all year round, but important jobs for them during the Iowa State Fair.
Speaking of important jobs, the Iowa State Fair board members. They are elected annually by delegates from Iowa's 106 county fairs, 2 directors from each of our 6 geographic districts in the state. They do a lot of work.
They have a lot of work, very important jobs. Hopefully they all get a chance to enjoy the fair as well. A lot of them are out there. They have golf carts. They
Yes,
get to go around
yes.
in golf carts.
All right, now we've got some royalty coming our way. This is the Iowa State Fair Queen.
From
Rhea,
2025,
right,
the
Rhea Schrage
reigning queen.
from Grundy County, Grundy Center in Grundy County. We'll get to hear from her a little bit later on as well. Reflection on her year in office.
Yeah, a lot of fun things you get to do. It's, I'm sure, a busy, crazy time that you get thrown into that position, but what a way to enjoy the fair. And then, of course, the 2026 Fair Queen candidates. 104 contestants will compete for the title of Iowa State Fair Queen this year. We will have the coronation for you live on Iowa PBS Saturday night at 7 p.m.
And
at
you
the Anna and Bill
are
Riley stage. I will be there. I will
that,
be on stage.
Not wearing a
Announcing,
tiara.
introducing all of these wonderful, very accomplished young ladies. So be sure to tune in Saturday night at 7. And you'll get to see all of there are 104 of them because, you know, we have 99 counties, but there are more fairs in some counties than just one county fair. So that's how
Some
we end
fairs
up with
can't
104.
get it done in one fair.
Well, can there be too many fairs? Really?
No, obviously not. I can imagine it's a really, really exciting
And it
week
takes
for these young women.
3 of the shuttles
Right.
to get them all through the parade.
Next up, Iowa State Fair volunteers. And the fair could not happen without volunteers. These are not all the volunteers.
Oh, no. They wouldn't fit on one of these shuttles.
No, these are the volunteers who volunteered to be in the parade. The other ones are probably busy working or storing
And they
up
do all
their
kinds
energy.
of things. They take tickets. They give directions. They work at some of the attractions and buildings. They staff all sorts of things throughout the fairgrounds. And so the fair would not happen in the way it does without all those volunteers.
All right, here's one we always get excited about. They're coming right up. It is the Iowa PBS crew.
Oh, my gosh. Who are these people?
Oh, there she goes. Oh, 3 of them. Oh, my gosh. 3 cartwheels.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
a record?
I'll have to give them a hard time about that.
They've probably been practicing. I'm super
Yeah.
impressed. I'm not out
Well,
there
all
doing
of those
cartwheels.
folks will be out at the fair. We'll all be out at the fair a lot the next week and a half. And, of course, you can watch all of our coverage on our nightly fair highlight show next week at 8 o'clock.
So we've got the Bike to Fair Park for free. So this is a new entry in the fair parade. Consider riding your bike to the fair. It's a great way to avoid traffic, and they do have free designated bicycle parking inside Gate 13.
And coming up here, we've got Smokey Bear. Smokey Bear is on an Iowa Department of Natural Resources fire truck. And the DNR Aquarium at the fairgrounds, that is a really cool thing that I think a lot of people miss if they don't know that it's there. But they're celebrating 100 years this year. And you can learn more about that and see them preparing for this year's fair on Thursday night as part of our highlight show next week. So one of the many stories we'll be bringing you.
We've got the Iowa State Education Association. We love our teachers, our educators, and they brought bubbles, so that's a good idea.
Adds a little something extra.
Absolutely,
And if
absolutely.
you don't have to clean it up later.
Teachers know what they're doing when it comes to that.
You know, I think that's probably, you're onto something there. That's how they came up with it. They got good creative teachers.
Right. I want to circle back around to the Iowa DNR building, because with rain in the forecast for the first few days of the fair, Travis, I've been thinking a lot about some of the places that I really like to go and hang out. So if there's a rain shower, obviously you want to bring a poncho, a raincoat, an umbrella. You want to come prepared. But I love to go to the fair when it's raining because it keeps the crowds down. But then also, you know, some of the places on the fairgrounds that you just really want to spend time, sometimes it feels like there's pressure, you know, to keep moving all the time.
Right.
But the DNR building is one of those places where it's really fun to spend some time. You can start some conversations with naturalists who are there, who have really fascinating things to say, and look at the aquariums, and it's cool.
And I'm always, whether it's the DNR building or several of the other buildings that have exhibits, I always come away learning something that I didn't know before. Something that I didn't know we had in Iowa, or that people were doing in Iowa, whatever it might be. There's so much to see and do. The cultural building is one that I like to spend a lot of time in, so that's a good one when there's rain.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there are always...
You can eat up a lot of time in there.
You can. I mean, there's so much to see, but then there's also demonstrations always going on. I always leave the fair thinking, I want to be a woodworker. I haven't made that happen yet.
It looks so easy, and I know it's not.
They turn out such incredible stuff. That's super fun. I watched a glass blowing demonstration there a couple of years ago. That was really cool. But the photographs, I love the photographs. I love the art entries. You can spend a lot of time there.
All the miniature things.
The miniatures.
Lots and lots of cool stuff.
Yes.
This is the Central Iowa Model A Club that you're seeing here. Nearly 5 million Model A Fords were built in just 4 years, from 1928 to 1931. And the Central Iowa Model A Ford Club has been around for a while. They were founded in 1961, and they're dedicated to the restoration and driving of Ford Model A's. And what, oh my gosh, look at some of the costumes. And when you're dealing with cars that were built from 1928 to 1931, it is a work of art to see all of these in actual working condition.
Absolutely.
Driving down Grand Avenue here in Des Moines.
Absolutely. And you know that most of the owners of these vehicles have spent hours and hours working on them, restoring them, and repairing them. I've heard that they're a lot easier to work on than today's cars, because they don't have
probably
computers
a little less complicated
all over the place. But
I tell you, if we had smell-o-vision, you can smell the engines running here, folks.
Smell, yes. You can smell the combustion engines. I want to just say a special thank you to the Iowa Genealogical Society. They let our mobile truck park in their lot every year, again this year, and we're incredibly grateful for their generosity. The Iowa Genealogical Society invites you to explore your family's past, whether you are thinking about dipping your toe into your family history for the first time, or you've researched a little bit but put it aside for a season. The Iowa Genealogical Society Library and Research Center can help. There are a lot of ways to get started or restart with family history research.
Lots of cool things going on in the building behind us.
Yep.
The Iowa District of Optimist International. And I'm not going to try to pronounce the name. Do you know the name of our world oratorical champion?
I do not.
Jordan from Cedar Rapids, Kennedy.
I'm guessing Village Cove from Cedar Rapids Kennedy High School, which is awesome. They've got a little America 250 theme going on there as well. We're seeing a lot of that today, and we will see more of it for sure. Got the Mid-Iowa Trail Riders Association here. Dirt Bike and ATV Club. Specializes in dual sport and adventure riding.
We worked with them a couple of times years ago on our Iowa Outdoors program. They do a lot of great things with trails around the state.
I can already hear the School of Rock coming down the road. Students from the Iowa School of Rock. This is such a great group for kids to really learn how to play in a rock band.
Yeah.
We've got young musicians on the float.
Yeah, if you've seen the movie or the musical, you think that's really cool, but that's not real life, right? But it actually happens.
Right. Drumming and vocals combined. That's pretty impressive. Just like Karen Carpenter. All right, what do we have coming up next? The Jeep Outdoor Club of Central Iowa.
I knew we'd have the Jeeps, Charity.
Yeah, there are a lot of Jeep enthusiasts in Central Iowa.
Did you know, though, that there are unspoken Jeep rules and traditions?
I did not. I did not know that.
Well, there's the Jeep Wave, the playful Duck Duck Jeep. But let me tell you, I know some people who have Jeeps, and if you're a Jeep owner, you love your Jeep.
Yep, for sure.
Well, fans of Iowa PBS won't want to miss our booth in the Varied Industries building. We have a completely new design this year. Visitors can sign up for the Iowa PBS newsletter that interests them most and spin our giant prize wheel for a special Iowa PBS giveaway, while kids can cast their vote for their favorite PBS Kids character at our interactive voting station. So, young or old, there's something for you at the Iowa PBS booth in the Varied Industries building, and we hope to see you there.
Well, and Travis, you know, again, to return to the theme of places to hang out when it's raining, of course the Varied Industries building is a place that a lot of people go. And when it's raining, it gets very crowded. But what I think is that you need to go to the Varied Industries building and go upstairs when it's raining. I really enjoy the textiles. And that's what's upstairs. That's another secret place on the fairgrounds.
People don't often go.
A lot of people miss it. And there are Iowans who have done the most beautiful work. We've got quilts, we've got clothing, we've got, you know, all different kinds of textile arts up there. And you can spend a lot of time up there. And I don't know, I guess I'd have to check, but usually there's an opportunity to volunteer and actually help do some sewing as well. So if the rain is really coming down, you can maybe learn some new skills or put some of your skills into practice. Go upstairs at the Varied Industries building.
Find all of those secret places. I shouldn't say secret, but maybe some of the less
places
traveled
you might miss,
places.
right?
Yeah.
They're not the places where you are seeing them and beelining to them just because they're visible.
Absolutely. Well, folks, if you can't make it to the fair, or maybe the rain's a little too heavy, it keeps some people away, we have you covered. For over 50 years, Iowa PBS has been showcasing the best of the Iowa State Fair. Tune in each night next week, Monday through Saturday at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock to see the fair like you won't see it anywhere else, right here on Iowa PBS. And every year we know people who go to the fair and then rush home to watch the show, or some people maybe can't get out, can't get to Des Moines for the fair. And we enjoy bringing a what we can to you here on Iowa PBS so you can experience the state fair like none other.
We've got the Submarine Veterans of Iowa going past. They look excited to be out. That's nice. Little Miss Iowa 2026, Mariette Fix of Muscatine, and Junior Miss Iowa is Arabelle Nickel of Davenport. I'm more
The
dancing.
eastern part of the state represented there. Then the Dance Avenue, a dance studio on the south side of Des Moines. Oh, they've worked on this, Charity.
I believe so. We think we're hot.
They all look like they're having a good time right now, but remember, we are early in the parade route. We should check back in with them in 6 or 7 blocks
Right.
and see how things are going. Can always count on a few dance troops at the Iowa State Fair Parade.
Yep.
You know, another place on the fairgrounds, Charity, the 4-H building.
Yes.
You know, lots of cool things in the cultural center, the exhibits and things that people have worked on. But I know for me, I used to look at a lot of 4-H exhibits at my county fair when I was growing up. But then when I got to the state fair, I really didn't think about the 4-H. You know, 4-H was, it seemed like it was a bigger part of the county fair, bigger focus of the county fair. And then at the state fair, there were so many other things I didn't pay attention to it much for many years. But there's a lot of great projects, work, research, wide
Yeah.
range of things that you'll find.
Well,
in
yeah,
the
I mean, if you're not
4-H
familiar, really familiar with 4-H, you might be surprised because students in 4-H are doing projects that run the gamut of anything you can imagine. And it's super fun to see.
And it gives those of us kids who didn't grow up on farms and, you know, weren't raising pigs or cattle or whatever to show at the fair, you know, other opportunities to be involved in the community and do fun projects and things as well. So.
Yeah. All right, we got a little dancing with bebops this year.
That is a bebop.
Nice.
And I'm glad that's him and not me.
Yeah.
I would be on my face on the concrete trying to.
Well, I was just thinking about jeans and a
Spin around
jacket in
like
this
that.
weather is what I was focused on. But so I always get excited to see what the butter sculptures will be beyond the butter cow. I'm always excited to see. This year it's the Pepsi clock, which
Yes.
is on the Grand Concourse. So it's an iconic state fair landmark. That's going to be fun to see. And
Absolutely.
other sculptures around an America 250 theme.
Always fun to see what they do.
Yeah, and there's always stuff in progress. The Pratts are always continuing to work and showing off their craft.
I tell you what, folks, if you are liking what you're seeing right now, if you enjoy watching Iowa State Fair coverage on Iowa PBS, we would love to have you support us as well. Scan the QR code that's on your screen right now or call the number to make a gift to Friends of Iowa PBS. Your support makes programs like our Iowa State Fair coverage possible while helping us educate, inform, enrich, and inspire Iowans every day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting Iowa PBS and for standing with public television. Please consider a gift to Friends of Iowa PBS today.
We've got the East High Marching Scarlets
Love a
now.
marching band.
That's great. I always admire a band director who can get the kids together in the summer.
Right,
and
because
get
school
them
has not
parade
started
ready.
yet. I
Lots of-
loved marching band, but yeah, we didn't do summer parades.
Oh, we
'cause
came to this
that-
one, which was a big deal because I grew up in Cedar Falls, and we would sit on the bus for a couple of hours to come to this parade. We also marched it in full uniforms.
Oh, no.
And they'd always give us a speech about, don't lock your knees. We've had kids pass out during the parade. I love that the marching bands that come now get to be in shorts.
Well, and the cheerleaders, we just saw there, the East High cheerleaders. That's a good costume for a state fair parade
Yes,
on a
for
hot,
sure.
hot day. And
They'll
they're getting
be
ready
chilly
because
at the football games,
season is
but-
right around the corner. And they're followed by lots of other folks from Des Moines Public Schools at large. The
Nice.
largest public school district in the state, serving over 30,000 students. And some of the folks in there, the 3A Boys State Soccer Champs, the Hoover Huskies.
Nice. The first ever state title for a Des Moines Public Schools
Yes.
soccer program. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
I'm seeing a sign there, too.
Yeah,
3A
bowling
State
champions.
Bowling champions.
That's fantastic. With the pink shirts to prove it.
Yep.
And a school bus.
I tell you, everybody's getting geared up because summer is. That's the other thing about the state fair is we know when the state starts, summer is winding down,
It's true.
and school is right around the corner. Some kids looking forward to it, some not. I'm sure.
Yep, for sure. So, of course, this year we are celebrating America 250 at the Iowa State Fair. We're celebrating that on our nightly shows as well. Monday night, we're going to dive into new fair foods, many of which have a patriotic theme. And we will join the first ever euchre tournament at the Iowa State Fair. That is all part of our coverage of Fair 2026, starting at 8 p.m. only on statewide Iowa PBS.
This is DMI Dance Force, another dance studio. This one on the south side of Des Moines, just south of downtown. Kenny's part of the dance troupe out there.
Well, he's really in there. That's why he's getting all those great shots. Love that.
And they keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. Hopefully they've got a lot of space.
Yeah.
That dance studio.
They're probably not all there at once, Travis.
I would imagine not.
One of my other favorite spots on the fairgrounds, whether it's rain or shine, I just love to walk around the barns. It's nice to go kind of later in the fair when all the really big horses are there. I love to see the giant horses. That's really fun. Or, you see the sheep early in the fair. Later in the fair, you see the llamas and the goats, and that's really fun.
Always entertaining.
Some National American Miss Iowa Queens.
All kinds of pageants.
Yeah.
I like to go to the Avenue of Breeds
Yeah.
and look through there. But it's just fun to stroll through the barns, like you say, and see how everyone's caring for the animals.
Yep.
how the animals are hanging out at the fair. Some of them want to be touched, and some of them don't. And
Right. make sure you know which one's which
Right.
before you do.
Yep. It's
a good
probably
idea.
best to check before you reach your
Right.
hand into
Well,
a
I really enjoy the poultry
pen.
barn. There are so many breeds of chicken.
Yeah.
I
And
had-
they're funny to look at.
They're fun. They're super fun. Here's
And the rabbits up there too.
The
in
Daughters
that
of the
area.
American Revolution, I have to mention. They're going past right now. And of course, it's a big year for the Daughters of the
It
American
certainly is.
Revolution with America 250. And they are out wearing clothes that women had to wear before we could wear pants, before Amelia Bloomer changed it for all of us, thank goodness. You know, she lived in Iowa for a while.
I didn't know.
Yeah, she was not from Iowa, but she and her husband moved to Council Bluffs.
Okay.
Yeah. She didn't invent the bloomers. They just, they named them after her. But
Well,
I'm grateful. I'll tell you what.
I got a scholarship to go to college from the Daughters of the American Revolution. I remember writing my patriotic citizenship essay
Nice.
for the scholarship application.
Another dance studio, Made Dance Studio from Urbandale. Getting in the Halloween spirit there.
You know, for some people, it's never too early.
Yes, that is true.
I'm not one of those people. But we're in the fair spirit. That's the theme. If you've heard us say it a couple times, you saw it at the very beginning of the parade on a banner, the fair spirit, and it's from the Spirit of 76.
Right.
Bringing in more of the America 250 theme.
So this year, our Iowa PBS education crew is going to have a presence in the Iowa DNR building. This is new for us this year. Families and children can enjoy the brand new Explore the Outdoors with Iowa PBS Kids in the Conservation Discovery area of the DNR building. This family-friendly space includes interactive outdoor learning, nature displays, and kid-focused exhibits featuring some of our favorite PBS Kids characters. And as I was saying earlier, you don't want to miss the DNR building. It's when people walk past it. You have to get back off the main drag. It's on the Grand Concourse, but it's not right on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
You got to walk a little bit,
Yeah.
which you're doing at the fair anyway.
And they've got that cool pond back behind there.
Yeah.
Or on the side, I should say. But
Yeah, it's neat.
hey, so I saw some video somewhere earlier this week of them loading in all the fish.
Yeah. Right, again, a 100th anniversary of aquariums at the fair. So that's really fun. And honestly, I love to see native species in aquariums because, you know, you spend time on Iowa rivers, particularly the Missouri, that's opaque. You can't see what's going on under there. So it's really fun to see native species of Iowa that you normally don't see.
Yeah. And
So-
again, I bet some of you will be surprised by what you will see in those aquariums, and you think, that's something you can see in Iowa?
Yeah, for sure. Simpson College is here. Their athletic teams are the Storm, and their official mascot is Thunder the Elephant. Simpson College in Indianola, of course. We've got our cheerleaders here.
Kudos to them for getting here before school starts, too.
Right? Right? So I just signed up today for the new morning ribbon report.
Mm-hmm.
That is a way to go behind the scenes of Iowa PBS coverage with a newsletter. The daily newsletter delivered straight to your inbox throughout the fair. You can sign up at iowapbs.org. I'm excited to see what I learn.
Well, who did you see today, Charity?
I saw Travis Graven.
Oh my goodness!
I learned all about him.
So
It
see
was
now,
so
people,
exciting.
if you didn't sign up, you missed it today.
You'll never learn about Travis, except that he had a scholarship from the Daughters of the American Revolution and wrote a patriotic
That
essay.
wasn't in this morning's morning ribbon report.
Weird that it wasn't covered, actually, Travis.
Yeah. We'll have to fix that for next year.
All right,
But
so
no,
we've
a
got
great way to
some more
stay in
Jeeps.
touch with what's coming up. There's never too many Jeeps. This is
a
the Iowa
different
Jeep Club.
group. Okay, the Iowa Jeep Club. Got it. We were learning about those Jeep traditions and ethics earlier, and apparently if you drive a Jeep, you are sworn to always help a stranded traveler.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, I think that's great. Good job, Jeep drivers. And now you know who to look for if you're stranded.
That's right. And if you see a Jeep go by while you're stranded, then they're not holding true to the
They've taken
the
an
rules.
oath. They took an oath. They have to stop.
Well, from the foods department to the show ring, there's plenty of competition at the Iowa State Fair every year. Tuesday night, it's the Beginners Food Contest, where novice cooks put their skills to the test. Then, watch horsepower and teamwork take over as horse teams compete in the outdoor arena. Don't miss these unique fair competitions and more during our Iowa PBS Fair 2026 coverage Tuesday night at 8.
And if you're hearing that and you think, wait, fair coverage is at 9, we are starting it earlier this year.
But it's also
But
at
it's
9.
also at 9. That's right. So watch it at 8.
So,
I'm excited about this because I go to bed at 9.
Yep.
So I always have to catch up on my fair coverage online the next day. But now we can actually watch. I can watch.
You
fair
can
coverage.
watch
I can
before you.
stay
I'm
up
a little
that
bit more
late.
of a night owl.
Are you?
Yeah.
What did I learn that in the newsletter this morning, Travis?
No.
Tell us more.
But if you miss it at 8,
Right.
and if you think it's still on at 9 like it has been for many years,
It
you're not
is.
going to miss it at 9 o'clock either. You can watch it either one. We want to make sure that you get everything you need from the Iowa State Fair and from Iowa PBS.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, of course, also go to iowapbs.org, go to YouTube. You can see so many great things if you miss it on television. And we know that you love watching the fair on Iowa PBS. We know that some of you spend so much time at the fairgrounds that you miss the nightly coverage. So you can watch all of that fair fun anytime, anywhere. Check out iowapbs.org/fair, the Iowa PBS Facebook page, the YouTube channel, the PBS app. You should definitely have that on all of your smart devices. And also tell your out-of-state friends and family that they don't have to miss the Iowa State Fair. The 2026 Iowa State Fair, anytime, anywhere, only with statewide Iowa PBS. Anywhere you need it to be, we promise.
There are some new things at the fair this year. We've talked a little bit about America 250, and some of the new things have to do with celebrating America 250. There's a legacy sculpture in Ruan Plaza. Spirit of 76. Iowa celebrates America 250. That exhibit is in the East Marketplace under the grandstand. 250 years of the American flag display in the Heritage Village. An Iowa Veterans Memorial Walkway on Expo Hill. Nightly drone shows, and Iowa Air National Guard flyover. The Veterans Day Parade is not new. They have
Right.
that every year, but of course we'll have some added
Extra
significance this
right?
year.
Yeah.
That's on Monday. I'll be there for that one. And then the Star Spangled Fireworks Spectacular following all of the grandstand shows. So lots of ways to experience America 250 and acknowledge and celebrate that at the Iowa State Fair this year.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, with the theme this year, the places that you think, oh, I've been there so many times, I don't need to see that. I think you need to go
So
again.
You might miss out on
this
something
year.
new or different this year. Yep.
Under the grandstand it's one of those places where sometimes I skip it, I'll be honest. I've sat in the fire truck, I've
Yeah.
honked the horn, but this year I'm going.
Don't want to miss it.
No.
And then there'll be other things, I'm sure, sprinkled around throughout the fairgrounds. Some red, white, and blue foods.
Some more dancers here. DSM Metro Mixed Group Dance Company. For girls between the ages of 3 and 15 with a focus on hip hop, lyrical, majorette, and praise dance styles.
Then we've got coming up the 89th annual Dayton Labor Day Rodeo. I grew up not too far from Dayton, Iowa. The Dayton Rodeo, well known, and it runs September 4th through Monday, September 7th. Professional rodeo competitions, a parade, fireworks, a carnival, and live entertainment.
This is the Litas, a global all-female motorcycle group that welcomes women of all ages and riding skill levels. They are making some noise.
And they're off.
Nice.
Grandview University coming up. The folks from Grandview, including President Rochelle Keck, cheer and dance teams, and national championship teams. Grandview's had some success in their athletics department in recent years. Men's soccer, football, and wrestling. Those cheerleaders have been busy, and they're going to have to keep building new trophy cases probably.
That's a
Grandview.
terrible problem to have. Oh, here we go. We've got the 2025 men's soccer national champion for their division. That's great.
Probably a little extra interest this year with the World Cup having
Yeah.
been here. I know I watched a little more soccer this year than I probably would otherwise. This is Sober Soldiers, a drug and alcohol recovery group. They are not veterans, just to clarify.
They're doing good work.
They are. Important to celebrate. And they've got quite a group. Several vehicles and lots of people.
I think one of the true joys of going to the Iowa State Fair is buying food on a stick. Or are you against that, Travis?
Oh, no,
Since you're
I'm-
not a corn dog
I am
eater.
not against food on a stick.
Okay, good.
And I tell you what, I'm just not a big fan of hot dogs. I love cornbread. So if they would want to fry me up just some cornbread on a stick,
They
I'd
might.
be all about it.
Yeah, I think they're actually prepped ahead of time, so maybe they couldn't make
And
that
I will
adjustment.
eat a corn dog. I'm not opposed to corn dogs. It's just when you're at the fair and you have all those options,
Right.
it's not the first thing I get.
Right. Over 50 foods available on a stick. So, of course, pickles, pork chops, corn dogs, corn on the cob, cotton candy. Does that count as a stick? I guess it does. Veggie dogs, turkey drumsticks. Oh, no, they're not on a stick. They are the stick.
They are the stick. Well, that's like pork chop on a stick you can get
That's
from the
true.
pork producers. It's just the bone.
Right. Fried pickles, hot bologna. Where are they selling hot bologna? All right. Deep fried candy bars, deep fried hot dogs, chocolate covered cheesecakes, pineapples, corn brats, salads, and of course hard boiled eggs. You get those free in the
Yeah.
agriculture building. You've got to stand in line for your free egg, and
That
then
line moves along. It doesn't
it does.
take very long.
It does. But then you go stand in line for the butter cow. And that line is slower.
You know what? I never stand in line.
I
just
peek
go,
over people,
yeah,
too.
it's like I can see it from
I can see
a few feet away.
We're tall enough. We can see. It's hard. You know, here's the thing. I think people really like to take pictures of the butter cow. It's hard to take pictures of the butter cow with the window. You get a lot of reflection.
Yeah.
I think you got to enjoy the moment.
It is tricky.
You know, the butter cow is so incredibly popular. And back in 2018, I went around and I was asking people about what you have to see if it's your first time at the Iowa State Fair. What do you need to do? Absolutely every person I asked said the butter cow.
It's one of those things that's just synonymous with the Iowa State Fair.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, the Pratt family, Sarah Pratt is the official sculptor, but her kids are her apprentices. They went out to Washington, D.C. and carved a butter cow that has been on display for pretty much the last year. That display at the Renwick Gallery in the American Smithsonian Museum, that goes through September 7th. So pack up after the fair, get out to D.C. You can still see that butter cow, and also they have Dr. Rod Zittler has been probably the winningest competitor in the canning.
You see his name everywhere.
Everywhere, everywhere. And he's got a bunch of canned goods on display out there. Actually, his wife also, she's a weaver and a shoemaker. She's got things out there. There's just all kinds of incredible stuff that
There's
I
nothing
haven't
they
been.
can't do,
I haven't been.
sounds.
No, they're incredible people. I haven't been to the display in D.C. I've just read a lot about it, so I'm
Yeah.
experiencing
and, you know,
it
we
vicariously.
had Jeremy Parsons, the CEO and manager of the fair, on Iowa Press a month or two ago, and he told us he learned some things out there about, you know, the way they were doing some of the exhibits and the
Nice.
fancy lighting and everything.
Okay.
So sort of hinted like maybe he's picked up a few tips from that exhibit out in D.C. and might be bringing a few
cool.
ideas back of how maybe they can spruce things up and do some things a little bit different at the fairgrounds over the next few years.
Nice.
So stay tuned.
We shall see.
Charity, you were talking about corn dogs earlier. Do you know how many corn dogs are sold at the Iowa State Fair?
I don't know. It's got to be so many. So it's a number I can't even imagine.
Makes me want to own a corn dog stand.
Yeah.
15.2 corn dogs every minute
Oh my goodness.
while the fair is open. That's
wild.
a lot of corn dogs. I'd have to get my calculator out and do the math there, but 15.2 every minute. And somebody's got to dip them and fry them.
Yep. Banda Perla du Sur. Oh, that's great. I don't think it's velvet jacket weather, but they look good and they sound good. So good for them.
Yep, I love it.
All right, we've
This
got
is the Schmitz family collection. Family collection of Farmall tractors. The original Farmall debuting in 1924.
Just to put in another Iowa PBS plug, I recently watched Tractor Wars 1 and 2.
Yes.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
You know-
can watch them on YouTube. Fascinating. You will learn so much.
Yes. It's they're wonderful, and a lot of people have been loving them.
Yeah. And there's going to be
There's
number 3 next year.
more to come, yes.
Yep.
In the works.
Well, I'm going to just admit that I didn't expect to enjoy watching them as much as I did.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a huge tractor aficionado, but
Now you are.
it's yeah. You don't have to be to
No,
enjoy
you don't have to be.
Tractor Wars.
But also, I mean, the tractors are just so pivotal in history, and our history impacted the tractor industry. I mean, it's really interesting stuff.
And let me tell you, any farmer or I guess it doesn't have to be a farmer who has an old tractor like that, they are so proud of the tractor and protect it at all costs.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be a shiny, you know, fancy restored tractor by any means, but just the significance of the history of them and what they do and what they've meant to the agriculture industry.
Right.
In all of our lives, whether you're a farmer or not.
Would you rather go to the fair on the first day or the last day?
Oh, I'm going to say the last day.
Yeah, why?
You get some discounts on the last day.
Nice. It's also a little less crowded on the last day.
Yeah, there are bonuses to both sides.
I am a first day person. I always go on the first day. I have for like the last 13, 14 years.
A lot of things I would generally trend that way, to go earlier rather than later. But yeah, if you go toward the end, then you can hear about it from people and know what's
the llamas. The llamas are there at the end. Danza Folklorica del Oeste. A Des Moines-based ballet folklorico dance group. Traditional style of Mexican folk dance characterized by different footwork and skirt movements. And look at those costumes. Just beautiful. Absolutely stunning.
And the flowers in the hair.
It's so fun. They're obviously having a great time and keeping cultural heritage alive in such a beautiful and vibrant way. Love that. All right, so I'm doing a would you rather. Would you rather come to the fair on a 95-degree heat day or a surprise rainstorm?
Oh. I'm going to say the rainstorm.
Me too.
Based on what we were talking about earlier.
100%. Well,
because on the 95-degree heat day, I'm going to want to be in the air-conditioned buildings anyway.
Right. Absolutely. Plus, I mean, getting wet at the Iowa State Fair, they're the fountains. Your children are going to get wet on the 95-degree day. They're going to get wet in a rainstorm.
I'm going to be wet.
Right. Absolutely. Yes, we'll be soaked with sweat. No, I'd much prefer a rainstorm. But you know what? Come prepared. Come prepared
That's
for
right.
rain.
Bring all of that stuff. Unless you're coming in for a grandstand show, then you can't have an umbrella.
Right, right.
But that's when you bring on the poncho.
You can have an emergency poncho.
And I saw a concert in the grandstand a few years ago where it was a downpour for much of the concert. And you know, we didn't care.
Yeah.
I had on my rain jacket and everything was fine.
The idea of what you bring to the fair, that's always an interesting thing.
Well,
you see people with all sorts.
Now you can bring in a cooler.
Which is lovely.
Yes.
I mean, I like being able to bring my own water, water bottle. And
when I was a kid,
really nice.
we would park in the main parking lot, but we would bring a cooler of sandwiches and we would go out to the parking lot at lunchtime and sort of tailgate, and a lot of other families did that as well. And then we go back into the fairgrounds for the afternoon. Now you don't have to do that if if your budget's tight, but you still want to experience the fair, or you just want to bring a couple drinks or a snack or something, you can do that.
Free dental clinic on the Iowa State Fairgrounds, November 13th and 14th. That's a great thing to know about. Bob Faust flag walkers.
Public art project.
Love that. Also, you know, if you loved color guard in high school, you get to keep doing it. I think that's great. Or maybe you missed out on it. This is your chance.
That's right. It's never too late.
So I like to have a backpack when I go to the fair. I don't want to carry something in my hands all day. And I know a lot of people pick up the bags in the Varied Industries building, and they will carry stuff all day long. But those people are more patient and have a higher tolerance, I think, for that than I do.
It's to each his own.
Right, right. Now, of course, if you've got a kid in
Sometimes
a stroller,
I see, you know, sometimes I see people with footwear at the fairgrounds that I also would not recommend.
Right. Right.
But, you know, they want to look fashionable, and
yes. Well, you know,
that's
and
fine
it's not,
too.
It's not even always such a fashion statement. I see a lot of flip-flops at the fair, and I think I'm going to walk
depending
like
on where you're going.
18,000 steps today.
It's the steps and also where those steps are.
Right.
You got to be careful.
Right. I love to hang out in the barns. I'm not going to pretend otherwise, and I like to have closed-toe shoes. Have you ever competed in a contest at the State Fair? You probably have for television.
I have not officially competed myself in a contest. I accompanied a contestant in the Bill Riley Talent Search one year. I played the piano and they sang.
Nice, that's pretty high level.
I unofficially, so I'm a big fan of banana bread, and I covered the banana bread competition in the food building. And I was curious how my banana bread would compare, so I baked a loaf. I didn't enter it in the competition, but I took it, and after everything was done, I had the judges taste my banana bread.
Do you think they were honest?
I should have entered it in the competition.
Oh, yeah? They were very
They might have
complimentary.
been a little bit generous to me. I don't know.
I'm sure
we'll
it
never
was
know,
amazing.
but I'm claiming that
know,
I could have
you
won a ribbon.
could enter next year.
It's never too late. Again, never too late.
I've competed in a contest at a county fair, Johnson County Fair. I entered the pie contest.
Okay. What kind of pie?
I made cherry rhubarb.
Ooh. Okay. We'll
And-
talk more about that.
Yeah,
because-
okay.
There's plenty to see at the Iowa State Fair this week, folks. So we'll meet the characters behind the grills at the pork tent, where the grill masters take their work very seriously. And we'll meet the woman competing for the title of Cowgirl Queen, showcasing their horsemanship, confidence, and love of the Western lifestyle. Those stories and more with thoughtful, in-depth coverage you expect Wednesday, the 19th at 8 p.m. here on Iowa PBS.
Some more great dancers going by. So it wasn't just the open pie contest.
Oh, okay.
It was a celebrity pie contest.
Okay.
Celebrity is a term we use
All right.
loosely in Johnson County.
Well, I was going
But-
to raise issue with the cherry rhubarb combination.
Why?
I,
What's wrong with
I
you?
love rhubarb, but I am a purist. I love just plain rhubarb.
Well, I love just plain rhubarb
That is
too,
not to
but
say I would
you
not
mix it up with
gladly
some tart
eat a
cherries,
piece
Travis.
of cherry rhubarb. So you can bring me a pie anytime.
I won
Cherry.
that pie competition, Travis.
I
Sheriff
don't doubt
Lonnie
it.
Pilkrovic said it was the best pie. I still have a tiny
doubt it.
trophy.
You learned a few things on Iowa Ingredients.
I did. From Beth Howard, the pie lady who used to live in the American Gothic house. She taught me how to make pie crust. And I use her method every single time.
The Zagazig Shrine. They do all sorts of fun stuff with parades, and they go all around.
Is this the first time I've seen the Shriners with a Farmall tractor too? Maybe not.
That's a good question.
Oh, that feels like a combo. Bringing
I feel like he needs to be
disparate interests together.
doing figure eights in that farm. Almost.
I think that would be tough. I think that would be tough. Not safe. Safety first.
But yeah, they get their little motorized carts out and zip around all kinds of parade routes throughout the summer.
What kind of training do you think you have to go through
Well,
lots of practice.
I don't know how much practice is involved.
They don't hit each other. I
But
think that's great.
it's important to pay attention and keep your eyes on the road.
I don't think you can have a parade without
We've got more
those.
coming. We've got the race cars.
Oh, wow.
The white little go-karts
That's
coming
a little
behind the
preview.
limousine.
Preview for us. There we go. There they are.
Oh. I've done that on the ice before. Out in the middle of Grand Avenue.
I wouldn't
During the
recommend
summer.
it on a normal day on Grand Avenue. I don't think anybody wants that.
Well, it's fun for the people watching, sitting along the parade route, but I'm guessing that these guys are having a little fun themselves.
Yeah.
It's a fun way to...
Do you think they have to like enter a lottery to get to be the ones who drive? Maybe you have to belong long enough. I don't know.
How many of them
Seniority
have
issues?
kids who are like, Dad, can I drive the car?
And I don't know if the Fezes are protective. They're not wearing helmets. Maybe they're special Fez helmets.
The secret we'll never know.
So many questions.
The parade comes down Grand Avenue. They start up by the Capitol. They come down Grand Avenue through downtown here. We've got a nice spot here in front of the Iowa Genealogical Society as we can see them kind of coming down the hill, starting to come down the hill from the Capitol as they move on through downtown Des Moines. And good number of people out here kicking off the Iowa State Fair.
Did you get to try the fair foods ahead of time this
I
year?
did not, no. Paul Yeager.
Okay.
Paul Yeager did.
Paul Yeager's the guy to ask.
Yes.
84
I
new
just saw him
foods
walk
this
by
year.
here
Yeah.
a minute ago. We should have snagged him.
Shoot, next time. So the top three, there's the Porky Parm gnocchi. That's gluten-free potato gnocchi and Graziano sausage.
Sounds good to me.
Tossed in a house-made A&E cream Parmesan sauce with a pesto drizzle, shaved Parmesan, fresh parsley, and topped with an American 250 year flag and a souvenir piggy hat. You get a hat too? Okay. Destination Grill.
Piggy.
One of the other finalists, Ultimate Mini Apple Pie. It's a deep fried apple pie served with vanilla and cinnamon ice cream drizzled with homemade apple syrup.
I'm not mad about that either.
No, that sounds pretty good. And then there's the All-American Scrambled Egg Roll, wrapped in a signature crispy golden egg roll. It's the ultimate American classic feast. Thick cut smoky bacon, savory sausage, hearty hash browns, farm fresh fluffy scrambled eggs, and melted cheddar cheese, all perfectly blended into one mouth-watering masterpiece, finished with a rich drizzle of homemade cheesy ranch.
And that one is from Wynn and Sarah's, who have won the last couple of years. So
Okay, so you think they're...
I have a hunch that that's probably going to taste pretty good.
Well, I think they all taste good. I'd go for the mini apple pie,
All
but
of- yeah, all of
I'm
those
a
are good.
sweets person.
All of those are good. And there are dozens of new foods
Yes.
and drinks
Yep.
at the fair. Those are the top three, and you'll get a chance to vote on them. So, I mean, If you're going to go to the fair, I think it's your duty. You have to have all 3 of them.
It's your
so you
civic duty, for sure.
You can accurately judge and vote accordingly.
AT&Co Dance Studio. So many dance groups in the parade. A lot of energy.
It's a good way to burn off some of that energy. Get them out on the parade route.
You want to go do some handsprings, Travis? Are you feeling too energetic?
I do not.
Okay.
And I could not.
Some aerial. Oh my gosh, this is fun.
Energy and attitude.
Love it.
Next up is the State Center Rose Festival 2026 Rose Royalty. 2026 Rose Queen, the Rose Princess, and Little Miss Rosebud. State Center is the Rose capital of Iowa. It's on Highway 30, a little east of Ames, kind of between Ames and Marshalltown.
On the Lincoln Highway.
Yep. There's a festival for something. Or festival for everything. You know?
Right.
Festival for something. Yes, there is.
I was waiting to see where that was going. Well, there's royalty for pretty much everything here in Iowa.
There is,
as well.
yes. Yeah, we saw, earlier we saw a pancake queen even.
Yeah.
As we were talking canned goods
The
and
Sky
food
Glider
competitions and
Queen
things.
went past.
I guess it's, if you have an appetite for pageants, and who knows, maybe some of them might not even actually be a pageant for some of them in order to,
Right.
they probably have all kinds of different ways you can earn a crown.
I want to say another thank you to the Iowa Genealogical Society for hosting us in their parking lot. That's how we get these amazing views. Provides us with a terrific vantage point from which to bring you the parade, and they've got a lot going on. You can check out their website at iowagenealogy.org for their September class lineup. Their fall conference in October is called Dead Men Do Tell Tales, and they are making plans for IGS and Iowa PBS workshops in 2027. It is an election year, and as I mentioned, I figured we'd see a lot more politicians than usual, and we have.
We have indeed.
More royalty.
Yes.
So this is Miss Planet USA 2026.
It's a new one for me.
Yeah. That seems like the biggest one.
I don't know.
I'm just
Miss
going
Universe.
on the name. Oh, Miss Universe is pretty big. You're right. Miss Universe is not in this parade. Miss Planet may be the biggest one we get.
I think you're probably right about that. Look at this. I love it. Red, white, and blue.
Oh,
Just
these
having
old
fun.
VW vans are just so cool.
I think anyone who has an old VW is just having fun.
I think that is true. That is true. We've got a whole bunch of, well, maybe not a whole bunch. We've got several classic VW vehicles. Not as many as the Jeeps, but still quite a few here.
Got the bugs, the van.
Well, this blue one, we can just see part of it. We saw it a moment ago. It's like a bug dune buggy.
Yeah.
I think they're just having fun for sure. I love the old bugs. But it's the Vanagons that I would really like to have one of those. I'm not an RV person, but I think that that would be the perfect compromise for me.
Okay.
Because camper van, very drivable. And I'm getting older, Travis. I don't love sleeping on the ground. I'm ready.
Well, we used to, when I was growing up, we had one of those big conversion vans, and I thought it was so cool because the back bench would lay down, you know. It wasn't as cool as a VW van, though.
No, but you were super cool.
Well, thank you, Sherry. I'm glad somebody thought so.
Yep.
Now, this one's a little souped up here.
If you
Hot
are,
rod.
yeah,
Hot rod bug.
hot rod bug. If you are out at the fairgrounds this year, please don't forget to come visit us. We are in the Varied Industries building, and our booth has a completely new design this year. When you're there, you can sign up for the Iowa PBS newsletter that you're so excited or most excited about, or all of them. That's another option, right, Travis? You don't have to choose.
Correct.
You can sign up for all of the newsletters. You can spin our giant prize wheel for a special Iowa PBS giveaway. Kids can cast their vote for their favorite PBS Kids character at an interactive voting station. We will see you there. It's always fun.
Absolutely. We mentioned earlier, Charity, toward earlier part of the parade, we saw the 2025 Iowa State Fair Queen Rhea Schrage riding along in the parade, and we had a chance to catch up with her before the parade started.
True. After an amazing week at last.
More VWs. I think they're matching the Jeeps. I would need to do a count, but I think there might be as many VWs as Jeeps this year.
I mean, we did have two different Jeep groups,
It's
but
true.
this is a long...
This is a lot
This
of
is a
VWs.
long line of VWs, and all shapes and sizes and colors, and old ones and new ones. And
On vacation a few years ago, we accidentally wound up adjacent to an international dub fest, which VW vehicles from all over Europe were there.
okay,
There's a lot of enthusiasm.
there you go, Charity. There's your van.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be great?
Should we run out and ask him if it's for sale?
I'll bet it is not. The fact that it's still running means no, we're never
That
selling
one's,
this ever.
yeah, that one's in good shape.
Yeah. And we've got a beautiful golden retriever up front too. All right, more dancers. The Folklore Mexicano Estilo y Movimiento. And we've got a Lucadora mask on one of the people on the float. That's fun. All right, and those little girls in those amazing dresses. I love that.
Yeah, all the color. The Iowa Honey Producers Association, supporting beekeepers across the state through education, advocacy, field days, fair promotions. They've got a booth in the Ag Building at the fair,
Upstairs.
offering honey lemonade, which is always a popular
Very popular.
beverage
yes.
choice. They've even got the big smoker coming up here.
All the bees in downtown Des Moines will be asleep. You're feeling very sleepy now.
That's all right until we're done with the parade.
Right.
Then they can come out again.
There are actually some gnats around, but maybe the smoke will work on them too.
Oh, I see. There's another crown on that truck,
Oh,
Charity.
all right.
Oh, look at the little bee.
Aw.
Now that's the way to get around, get through the parade route. Right in on the front of a forklift.
On a bee box.
Have you done any beekeeping?
Yes, we have a little bit. My husband is the beekeeper in the family. We're out of the business at the moment. Have you?
I have not. I'm a little hesitant to get that close
The
to them.
proper equipment
I'm
is
sure if
very
I
important.
knew exactly what to do and what not to do, it would be just fine.
Iowa's partner states, connecting Iowans to the world, celebrating Iowa's official relationships around the world through cultural displays.
And again, we've seen quite a bit of it in this year's parade, but it's great that we have this long-standing tradition of the Iowa State Fair that's part of all Iowans' culture, but that through the fair we can also celebrate a variety of cultures. Everybody can share a little bit about their heritage and culture with everybody else.
Yeah. And of course, we have partner states throughout the world. Some of our cities have sister cities throughout the world. It's really cool to see those relationships.
Always good to be building relationships and have those connections where we can learn from them and they can learn from us. All right, some proud folks rolling on down Grand Avenue here, the Central Iowa Tractor Club.
Starting with the John Deere tractors, the green tractors in the lead here.
Focused in on the job.
Yep.
Seeing a lot of green.
There's orange behind. I can see it coming. We've mentioned, of course, you can enjoy the fair highlights on television, on YouTube, on the website. Our Facebook page has a lot of things going on. There are all kinds of ways that you can get involved with our Iowa State Fair coverage. So follow on Facebook, on Instagram, and you'll be able to see what's happening around the fairgrounds, get glimpses of behind the scenes, extra fair fun. And who knows, maybe you'll show up in this fair coverage as well.
You never know.
It's true.
You might show up as well.
I might. You might too, Travis. I think we're kind of shoo-ins, but I love getting to just those moments of serendipity when we're out covering the fair, the people that you meet who get to be a part of it. It's fun.
Yeah.
All right. Farmall, we've got Alice Chalmers.
The Alice Chalmers. That's what my grandpa had.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Charity, there is no shortage of unusual competition at the Iowa State Fair. We are going to meet a record holder in the cow chip throwing contest and see if this year's competitors can come close to her mark. Then it's horsepower of a different kind as tractors pull for distance and bragging rights. Don't miss these stories and more on Friday night State Fair Highlights program. It'll be August 21st at 8 p.m. right here on statewide Iowa PBS. Our own Paul Yeager, I believe, will be at the cow chip throwing competition.
That's a pretty prime spot. That's pretty special.
Have you thrown a cow chip
I've
before?
not. Have you?
No, I have. Not as part of the competition, but I
Just
have
for
done
fun.
a story about it
at home.
And I was intrigued by the fact that it's sort of, I likened it to people picking out fruit at the grocery store, where you inspect. The people who are really into it know exactly what kind of chip they're looking for, the shape, the size,
Nice.
whether it's a little drier than maybe some of the others, and they're feeling around that bucket trying
That sounds
to
great.
pick out their prime cow chip for that
Nice.
blue ribbon.
Well, there are experts in everything. That's another thing that I love about the Iowa State Fair. With all of those unusual contests, you know, there are people who specialize.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I love that every year you can pick pretty much any contest at the fair, those sort of day of contests, not the food contest.
Right. You've got to plan
and
ahead
you show
for
up,
those.
and there are people there that, you know, they have been planning for this contest, and they've been preparing for it for months. And then there are other people that just happen to be walking by and like, oh, my wife told me I needed to come over here and enter the competition.
I think I
or
can.
it just looks fun, and so they're going to
I think I can win the husband calling contest this year. I think I can.
I think you could.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Those calling contests are always
they're
a lot of
hoot.
fun.
They're really fun.
A hog calling, the
So-
chicken calling, the husband
I
calling.
mean, that's another. You can go up to Pioneer
Hall, yeah.
and spend all day. If it's raining, just stay all day, because there is stuff happening every 30 minutes. There's going to be something different, something new, something fun. But another one of my favorite spots, especially on a rainy day on the fairgrounds, is the State Fair Museum.
That's right up there in that same area.
Yes. Love the museum. And they always change up the exhibits. You're going to see different things. But it's the locomotive crashes that just blow my mind. Bringing in giant locomotives and smashing them into each other. Wow.
It's hard to imagine those sorts of things. And then the airplane through the building. It's hard to imagine that kind of stuff happening today.
Yeah. It was crazy that it happened then, but it's fun to see. Have you been to the Telephone Museum? That's a little gem.
No.
Yeah, you got to try that one this year.
Okay, I'm going to put that on my list. I assume I will see some telephones there.
There are so many telephones there, you won't even believe your eyes, Travis. Telephones.
Well, that's a good thing to take
all vintages.
some young kids today to, because a lot of them have not seen what a traditional telephone looks like.
It's true. And I tell you what, when Gen Xers walk in there, they're like, oh, I had that one, or oh, my friend had that one. My friend had their own line in their bedroom, and they had the hamburger phone, you know. There's also the really old stuff, like the switchboard and stuff like that, too.
All right. Well,
that was one I hadn't been to until maybe that was 2 years ago. I went for the first time, and I just walked past it over and over again and just hadn't gone inside. Just goes to show you can go for years and years and years, and you're always going to find something.
I often think of, I'm sure we've got some folks who are watching the parade right now in the campgrounds at the fairgrounds. But the folks who camp and, you're at the fair for all 11 days, you have to, I would imagine, see every inch of the fairgrounds. And I'm sure people have their traditions of what they see on different days and different shows they want to go to. And
so earlier when we were hearing from the 2025 State Fair Queen, we were having a little bit of technical difficulties. So we are going to give that another go and hear from Rhea Schwagi from Grundy Center in Grundy County.
Rhea Schwagi was the 2025 State Fair Queen, and your reign is like hours away.
I know.
Sum up this year for me. What's it been like?
Oh, it's just been an absolute blast. I've had the time of my life, it's definitely, everyone always says it's once in a lifetime experience, and I can testify that is 100% true. After an amazing week at last year's state fair, I actually traveled almost 13,000 miles around the state of Iowa, visiting 74 county fairs, and I think I actually sang the national anthem about 30 times. So very patriotic for the 250th this year, but it's been an absolute blast. I've loved every second of it.
And you were trying to balance that with high school, and now you're getting ready to go to college. What's the one piece of advice to those young women that are getting ready to take your place? What's your piece for them?
Oh, yes, for sure. All of those girls, I've gotten to meet them today and hang out with them at the Queen's Week, and they are all so deserving and amazing, and I'm so excited I get to be a part of their week. And for the next State Fair Queen, I'm so excited for her to just have that similar experience. And my advice, I guess, would be to just soak it all in and enjoy it all as much as you can, because it goes so fast.
You have to pick one event. What was your favorite event as Queen at the State Fair last year?
Ooh, at the State Fair, I would probably say getting to see all the new foods. I'm a foodie myself, and so we did that whole big walk around. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a whole lot of fun, and getting to award the new foods is truly special. It changes their life, so that's been my favorite thing for sure.
Ria Shruggy. And as Paul mentioned, just a couple more days of her reign before we crown the new queen. And a reminder, we will have the queen coronation for you live right here on Iowa PBS Saturday night at 7. So tune in and see which one of the 104 queens will be doing all those fun things that Rhea got to do the last year or so. I can't even imagine experiencing the fair through the State Fair Queen.
Well, the Iowans
It'd
of the
be pretty
day
cool.
are kind of royalty
That
as
is,
well.
yeah.
So that's always fun to see them driving around, of course, doing all of their special things. And there are Iowans who are chosen from around the state, nominated by people in their community for some sort of special accomplishment or investment in their community, and then they get to be Iowans of the day. It's pretty fun to see.
Challenger Cruise Club. Cruise for a cause. They help raise money for children's foundations like St. Baldrick's and the Cancer Warrior Truck. So they're having fun driving their cars, and they're doing good work as well.
Travis, do you prefer to go to the fair early, to be one of the first people there in the morning, or do you like to stay late?
Now I am a late person, and I think that's partly because it slows down a little bit later in the day. A lot more people start right off in the morning, and it's busier through that first part of the day, and then late afternoon. You know, it kind of depends on if you're making one trip to the fair or multiple trips. And I'm out there a lot, but if I go out there on my own outside of work, I kind of like to go late afternoon and evening. It's also a little bit cooler generally.
That's true. That's true. I like to go early, but then I sort of leave mid-afternoon. I don't.
It is definitely, you will see different crowds.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell.
And I know, I mean, there are
these
people
folks
who
are
go
early fairgoers, and these folks are the night crowd.
right, and then there are the people who are going to put in 12 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a great deal of respect for them, but I could not be them. Maybe at one point in my life I could have, but I don't.
But Charity, there's
I need a
so
little more
much to see and do. We've been
I would
talking
rather
all
go
about
twice.
it.
I would rather go
Yeah,
twice
yeah.
than try to do it all in one day.
It makes for a very tiring day for sure.
Well, and you know, I mean, for some people I know it's really fun the whole time. For me, once I start to get tired, then I'm like, am I turning this into a chore? I think I need to go home and come back again.
Well, at Iowa PBS, we don't just show you the fair, we take you there. From the unmistakable sounds of the hog calling contest that we mentioned a little while ago, where competitors call their best and loudest, to the determination and skill on display at the adaptive sports competitions. Our Iowa PBS cameras are right in the middle of it all. Don't miss these stories and more on Saturday night's State Fair Highlights program. That's a week from this Saturday, August 22nd at 8 p.m. only on statewide Iowa PBS.
And again, we are doing coverage an hour earlier this year. So
yes,
if
indeed.
you are an early to bed person like
8
I
o'clock
am,
for
8
those early
o'clock.
to bed folks. And
But
if
we're
you
showing it
miss
again at
You
9.
can see it at 9. And then we'll be showing all of them again on the final Sunday of the fair. So you can do your marathon binge watching of all of our State Fair highlights shows on that final Sunday, the 23rd.
Well, and of course, iowapbs.org, YouTube. You can catch up if you're not available to watch in the evening hours. We've got the Loco Dreamers Car Club right now. This is a Des Moines-based car club that features lowriders, imports, domestics, classic bikes, big rigs, and lifted trucks.
And when they say low riders,
Right.
they mean low riders. Look at this one is that even off the street? Just barely.
I think we'd see sparks if it were not.
Just barely.
It's fun to watch them dance. When they really get going,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
pretty amazing.
They've got more bounce than I do. And again, a little old, a little new.
Yeah.
A mix of everything.
The shadows are starting to get long out here, and when it gets darker, we'll really see the lights on
Oh,
these vehicles. They're all lit up. My goodness, that's incredibly low to the road. There better not
That's
be
pretty.
a bump.
Oh, here we go. We've got some bouncing going on now. I don't know how they do that.
And we caught up with the Grand Marshals earlier
Yes.
today, so let's hear
Lots
from
of
them.
years of fair experience.
Yes.
Russ and Terry Slight are the Grand Marshals in the parade, and they've had a busy 40 years working at the Iowa State Fair. They're Grand Marshals. So, Terry, the big job has been in the grandstand with security. What's that family like there at the grandstand?
You mean our family of grandstand people?
Yeah.
Oh, the best. We've had some people that have come back and worked with us for so many years, and it's like having a family reunion every year.
But Russ, you got to do work on occasion. Does everybody get the job done if everybody's getting along?
Yes, I mean the job does get done, and it's again we've talked a lot about this, and it's the family reunion type thing, but everybody gets harnessed up and move in the same direction.
Yep.
What's it mean to be Grand Marshal of the parade?
Oh, it's a very big honor. We're very blessed. We're very happy.
When they told you that you were going to be the Grand Marshal, did you think it was for real there, Terry? Or for Rich?
It was a shock, and I'm still not comfortable with it. I'm way out of my comfort zone right now. So,
Smile and wave, that's all you have to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we've been told, so we'll practice.
Way out of his comfort zone. I love that. That's
Well,
so
they'll
cool.
be in their comfort zone starting tomorrow at the fair, I bet.
Well, and after putting in so
spent
many years of work, maybe it's nice to just enjoy the fair
Yes.
instead of being responsible for security. That sounds like a big responsibility.
We got another car club. All kind of running together. But this is the Public Disturbance Car Club for a variety of car enthusiasts. And there are various ways to get to the fair, Charity. You could take one of these classic cars or souped up cars. You can ride the free State Fair shuttle. You can, we talked earlier about the bike. You can take your bike and park it for free at the bike check-in inside the gates at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, I like to park at the Capitol.
The shuttle's a pretty good way to get there and back.
I don't want
quick
to
and
mess
easy
with the
and-
parking
yeah.
lot. But you know what? The times that I have parked on the fairgrounds, it's been managed extremely well.
Yeah.
I'd just rather park easily and ride a
Well,
bus.
and you get dropped off right at the gate.
Yeah,
So you
super
can't
convenient.
beat that.
And the shuttles come so often.
Yeah.
I've never had that sensation of, oh, I'm waiting forever. More royalty here. Look at that skirt.
Yes.
Buenas tardes. Saludos especiales de parte de Adriana Saquencia, de su oficina aquí en Des Moines y también en Marshalltown.
Is anybody at the grandstand this year, Charity, that you wish you could have seen? Or that you are seeing? I shouldn't assume that you're not going to.
Well, I've already told you that I want to go early in the morning and I don't ever want to stay late anywhere. So no, I'm not. Although every year I'm like, ooh, should I? How about you?
You know, I have to admit there are several grandstand acts. I don't even know who they are. But that's speaking more about my age and my lack of pop culture knowledge than anything else. You know, Alabama is at the fair this year, and they've been there many times before, and I have never seen them, but I grew up on country music. I would go see Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, you know, there have been so many great acts over the years, and I always talk myself out of buying tickets and going, and then listen to stories of some of the legendary acts that have been there, and
Yeah.
then I kind of kick myself.
I've seen some great shows at the fair. Do you know what the record crowd for a grandstand performance is? Who has the record crowd?
Was it Johnny Cash?
No, but close.
Okay.
Johnny Cash is in the top 5.
All right.
Sonny and Cher
Sonny and Cher.
in 1972.
Nice.
Now, 26,200 people in 2 shows.
Okay.
But a few years later, the Beach Boys drew just shy of that, 25,400 in 1 show. So, you know, depending on how you slice and dice.
Oh, my goodness.
And then Johnny Cash, number 3. Chicago, number 4, and Oak Ridge Boys, number 5. The most recent in that list is 1982.
All right. Chicago,
So-
1974. That was really when they were at their pinnacle. Or close.
See, back in the day, you could have.
I couldn't have. You couldn't have either, Travis. Was born in 75.
Yeah. And even if I was around then, I probably wouldn't have been dragged to concerts at the Iowa State Fair. I
Right.
guess. But there's so much free stuff you can get at the fairgrounds
It's
too. If
true.
you're, you know, and during the day. So Charity, if you don't want to stick around at night.
That's the best
For the
dancing traffic
grandstand.
cone I've ever seen, Travis. Ever.
Yeah, I should not be talking. I should let the people just enjoy the wonder of the dancing traffic cone.
But it's true. There are so many great performances
Yeah.
that you can see that are not part of the grandstand.
Some of them at night.
Yeah.
And there's entertainment during the day as well. Lots of free things to do at the fair. Not everything has to. You don't have to go eat all the food, ride all the rides, and you know that's great. A lot of people love doing that, and I encourage everybody to have fun however they want to have
Yeah.
fun. But you can do it on a budget.
You can. You mostly blow it.
That's not,
always- I
it's
always
not to
am-
say you're not going to be tempted when you
Right.
take in your cooler with your cold meat sandwich that you're going to want to also have the parm gnocchi or whatever.
Right, exactly. And I always tell myself I'm going to let myself have one treat when I'm at the fair on a given day. I mean, not one treat per day. Don't get me wrong. But I often then see another thing that I just have to try, and then you think, well, it's only once a year. What are you going to do?
I think they say calories don't count at the Iowa State Fair, right?
I've heard
Something like
people
that.
say it. I have heard that. But again, you're going to get in 15, 20,000 steps.
Yes.
Now my favorite thing is the end of the parade, because we get to see horses. And this is fun, the Iowa Chuck Wagon from Gates Ranch. A bicentennial tribute.
They keep the horses at the end of the parade for good reason.
So was that made for the bicentennial and they rolled it back out because now we're doing 250?
I don't know.
I think that's what
So it looks like it could have.
Yeah. Well, it says
been.
1976 on the side.
A lot of people.
I said
a lot of people watching, I'm sure,
tribute,
remember
and
the celebrations
I already,
from that year.
Yeah, I was already thinking it's not the bicentennial. I've said the wrong thing. And I just say America 250 because I can't say the thing that
The semi-sesquicentennial?
That one. Oh, you're such a show-off.
Well,
but yes.
I don't think that counts.
Your ability to say that, was that in your bio in the newsletter this morning? Well, you did a really good job. I have clearly not practiced. And now, Escaramuza Flor de Alcatraz. I love these groups.
Several Escaramuza groups
saying,
that bring up the rear.
And as you were saying, they're in the back for good reason, but they're the best part of their parade. I'm just going to say it. Love it.
And they're talented. And the Escaramuza teams, along with their male counterparts, the Charros, are performing at the fair. And you can catch coverage of that event on Iowa PBS on Tuesday night as part of our Fair Highlights show for that evening. And again, just a great example of sharing their culture and traditions with all of us.
Look
and it's
at this
fun that
horse.
they get to do that
My
at the
goodness. It's incredible. Think of all the practice and training that goes into that.
You could do that, right, Charity?
No.
The lasso?
Nope. Maybe after
I bet they could teach you.
Right, after I learn to be a woodworker, then I will learn to lasso. I'll just add that to my list.
And before the parade started, our Paul Yeager, we've seen him a couple times now. He was up by the Capitol at the beginning of the parade route, and he caught up with the fair's marketing director, Mindy Williamson, for a little preview of the State Fair.
Mindy Williamson is the Chief Marketing Officer at the Iowa State Fair. Mindy, big year, 250. Is that the biggest of the headlines for this year?
It's probably the fair on top of the fair for this year. We honestly have so many added elements to pretty much everything we've done. We have turned every competition into a red, white, and blue extra competition. And then we have so much more art, so much more display area that you can check out. And it's a super nice tribute to America's 250th birthday.
Subtle, or is it going to be we cannot miss this celebration?
I think wherever you look, you will see flags, bunting, contests. You cannot come on the fairgrounds without seeing America 250.
All right, when we're on the grounds, We're going to see some traditional favorites. What's one of those favorites that you look forward to every year?
I absolutely love that national anthem that we sing every day. The fairgrounds freeze. It's a brief moment to pay respect. And we have some veterans who are singing that this year because of America's 250. That's one of my favorite things. You know, the fair started because of livestock competition. You will see that ramped up this year. So it's hard to pick one thing that might be my favorite.
And even the food has a 250 feel to it.
Absolutely. You can turn food red, white, and blue, it turns out. You can fry it, you can put it on a stick, and our concessionaires have done all of the above.
I love Paul's question. Will it be subtle? the state fair.
I don't think that's in the vernacular.
Many things.
No.
Subtlety is not a thing.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about food, and that's not subtle either. It's sort of like how ridiculous, how over the top
yep.
can you make something to take off at the Iowa State Fair?
These intricate costumes are so beautiful. As you mentioned, a lot of Escaramuza groups here at the end of the fair.
Escaramuza groups bringing up the rear of the parade. We got some talent with the rope.
Incredible talent.
Beautiful horses, wonderful costumes.
And some high energy music to wind things up here as well. Some great horns. Lovely.
A way to celebrate the end of the Iowa State Fair parade and celebrate the upcoming Iowa State Fair. And we've got you all covered here on Iowa PBS. The Queen Contest on Saturday. We've got the Talent Show Championships the last Sunday of the fair. And in between it all, 6 shows of highlights starting Monday night at 8 o'clock here on Iowa PBS.
Thank you so much for joining us for this kickoff. And we will see you at the fair.
I will see you there, and we'll see you there.
Funding for Fair 2026 is provided by
Pella Windows and Doors help bring your home to life. For more than 100 years, Pella has been dedicated to building a brighter future in Iowa communities. Pella Corporation is a proud supporter of Iowa PBS.
With our Iowa roots and Midwestern values, Farmers Mutual Hail is committed to offering innovative farm insurance for America's farmers, just as we have for 6 generations. Farmers Mutual Hail, America's crop insurance company.
As Iowans, we all want clean air, land, and water. Iowa's pig farmers do too. You can learn more about the Iowa Pork Producers Association at iowapork.org/wecare.
Since 1929, Wellaby has offered insurance solutions to help people protect their health and financial well-being. Wellaby strives to empower people to be well prepared, and well protected. Learn more at wellaby.com.
Welcome to Iowa, where you can explore parks, wander countless trails, and experience history, culture, and art. Travel Iowa.
At Iowa Corn, we know that corn is more than just a crop. It fuels our cars, feeds our livestock, and is in over 4,000 products on your grocery store shelves. Iowa doesn't just grow corn, corn grows Iowa. Learn more at iowacorn.org.
Banking in Iowa goes beyond transactions. Banks work to help people and small businesses succeed. And Iowa banks are committed to building confident banking relationships. Iowa Banks, your partner through it all.